So the first part of our review is from 3.1. So solve the system by graphing. For these questions, you'll have the graph given to you. So we're going to graph it together though, because some of them we'll have to graph. But just like how you had on the quiz, the graph was given to you on this, and all you have to do is find an intersection, and that's your answer. So here, we're going to graph it together. What is our y-intercept here? 2. So our graph crosses the y-axis at 2. And then what's our slope?
-1.
Awesome, -1. So -1 over 1 means we go down 1 to the right 1. We just connect our 2 dots. So that's our first line. And then again for the second one, what's our y-intercept?
-4.
-4. So we go down to -4. And then what's our slope?
-7 over 1.
-7 over 1. So we go down 7 to the right 1, or we would go up 7 to the left 1. So up 7 to the left 1 would put our dot here. Connect our 2 lines. Where do our 2 lines intersect? At what point? They intersect right here. What's this point? What's our coordinate here for this point? How would we label this point?
-1, 3.
Perfect, -1, 3. So remember, the first number, -1, is our x. The second number, 3, is our y. So x is equal to -1, y is equal to 3. A lot of people made mistakes on this one, on the quiz, even though the graph was given to you. All you have to do is find where they intersect. That's your point. First number is your x, second number is your y. So I'm just going to do the first one from each section with you guys today. The rest of it, you guys are going to have to do for homework. So any questions on this one? All right. Number 3, solve each system by substitution. Here we're looking for either x is equal to something or y is equal to something. We have x is equal to this. So we're going to take this, y plus 3, and plug it in for x. We don't need to do anything. We don't need to move anything around. We're just taking y plus 3, plugging it in for x. So we have -y plus 7 times y plus 3 plus 3 is equal to 0. So we just took y plus 3, plugged it in for x, substituted it in. How would we solve for y here? What do we need to do first to solve for y? We're just solving this. What do we do first?
Distribute.
Distribute. Awesome. We distribute the 7. So -y plus 7y. What's 7 times 3?
21.
21. Plus 3 is equal to 0. What do we do next? What do we do next to solve for y?
You combine like terms.
Awesome. Combine like terms. So we have -y plus 7y. What would this give us when we combine the y's?
6y.
6y. And then we have 21 plus 3. what would that be?
24.
24 is equal to 0. What do we need to do next to solve for y?
Subtract 24.
Perfect. We need to move that 24 to the other side because our goal is to get y all by itself. So we have 6y, we subtract 24, so it cancels out. So 6y is equal to negative 24. What do we do next? Divide by 6. So y is equal to, what's negative 24 divided by 6?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. So that's our answer for y. How do we find x now?
We plug it in.
Awesome. Take negative 4 and plug it in for y. So here we have x is equal to negative 4 plus 3. What do we need to do to solve for x?
Add 4. No, subtract 3. Right?
We have x is equal to negative 4 plus 3. So what do we need to do?
Combine like terms.
Combine like terms. We just add negative 4 plus 3. So x is equal to, what's negative 4 plus 3?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. Perfect. So that's our answer for x. So we have an answer for x and an answer for y. And we're done. Let's go to solving by elimination. So on the next page. All right, so again, just like how on the quiz, the graph was given to you, on the test for this question, the graph will be given to you. But on the review, I just decided to challenge you a little bit and make you graph it on your own. We can graph, let's graph the first one together. So what's our y-intercept? What's our y-intercept for the first equation?
4. 4.
4. So our graph is going to cross the y-axis at 4. What's our slope?
2.
2. So 2 over 1 would be our rise over run. So instead of going up 2 and to the right 1, we'd be off the graph there. I'm just going to go down 2 and to the left. We just connect our two dots with our line. And now with our second equation, what's our y-intercept?
Wouldn't that second dot be on the right?
So I went up 2 and to the right 1 up here, but since it was off the graph, I just wanted my other point to be like on the graph, so I went down 2 and to the left. So I did like the opposite just to make sure it's still in that same line. So that's why I went down 2 and to the left. Because if I connected these two dots, so these two, I would get the same line there. I just wanted my second dot to be on the graph. Okay, for our second equation, what's our y-intercept?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. So we cross the y-axis at negative 3. What's our slope? What's our slope?
Negative 5 over 1.
Negative 5 over 1. So we're going to go down 5 and to the right 1, so our point would be over here somewhere. But I'm going to do the opposite of both just to keep it on our graph. So I'm going to go up 5 and to the left 1. So our line looks like this. Where do our 2 points intersect?
-1 and 2.
-1, comma 2. So what is our x equal to and what's our y equal to? -1, and then what's our y?
2.
2. So we got x is equal to and y is equal to, and that's our answer. So again, on the test, this will be given to you, and you just have to look for this point where they intersect. Determine the point, and then the first number is your x, the second number is your y. So you will have 2 answers for this one. If it was multiple choice, you would have an x is equal to and a y is equal to. Alright, so we did 1, 2, and 3 in class yesterday. So let's look at number 4. So we're solving by substitution. So that means we're going to take something in one equation and plug it into the other one. So here we already have y equals. So we're going to take this, plug it in for y. So -x is equal to 3 times 1 plus x. So I just substituted 1 plus x in for y, plus 9. What do we do next? What should we do next? We're solving for x. So what
Distribute.
do we distribute? Thank you. Distribute the 3. So 3 plus 3x plus 9. That's equal to -x. What should we do next?
Subtract 3 from both sides.
Subtract 3x, right? Just so we can combine our like terms. So now we have, what's -x minus 3x?
-4x.
-4x is equal to 3 plus 9. What should we do next?
Combine like terms.
Combine like terms. 3 plus 9 is 12. What's next?
Divide 4.
Perfect. Divide by -4. So x is equal to 12 divided by -4, which is -3. Are we done?
No.
Nope. We need to take this, plug it back in. We can plug it into the first or second. The first looks a little bit easier, so let's plug it into our x in the first equation. So we have 1 plus, we plug in -3 for x, so it becomes -3 is equal to y. Here it's easy. All we have to do is 1 minus 3, and that's it. So 1 minus 3 would be -2. So -2 is equal to y. So we have our x and we have our y, and we are done. Any questions? You guys good with this? You want to do one more of the substitution or save it for tomorrow? guys are very alive today. I like it. You guys need to wake up. Did you know it's cold outside? Let's look at number 6. So here we have negative y is equal to 4. That looks like our easiest thing to plug in, but this negative in front of the y is kind of stopping us. So what should we do first?
Take out the y's.
Before we can substitute in for the y, we have to do something with this negative. What can we do?
Make it positive.
How do we make it positive?
Multiply by -1.
Awesome. So we could either multiply or divide by -1. So let's multiply both of these by -1. If we multiply the negative y by -1, we have to multiply everything in the equation, so we have to multiply 4 by -1. So y is equal to -4. Now what can we do?
Plug it back in.
Plug it back in. So we have y is equal to -4. We're plugging it in for y. So -8 plus 6x plus 4 times -4 is equal to 0. Now we need to solve for x. So what should we do first?
Combine like terms.
Combine like terms. Before we combine like terms, we have this 4 times -4, so we would need to multiply. So we have -8 plus 6x. 4 times -4 would be -16 is equal to 0. Now we can combine like terms. So since they're on the same side, we have -8 minus 16. We just combine them together. So -8 minus 16 would be -24. Yep. So 6x minus 24 is equal to 0. What do we do next?
Add 24.
Add 24. Perfect. 6x is equal to 24. What's next?
Divide by 6.
Divide by 6. X is equal, what's 24 divided by 6?
4.
4. So x is equal to 4. Are we done?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we already found what y is here. Y is -4. So these are our two answers. X is equal to 4, y is equal to -4. Any questions? All right, we're going to save the last substitution one for tomorrow. All right, so we just have a few more problems from each section left to go over, and then I'll answer any questions you guys have, like in general, about the test tomorrow. So just going back to 1 and 2, we already did both of these, but I just wanted to point out, just to review again, when solving these, you really don't have to do any math about it. The graph is going to be given to you. You just have to look for the point in common. So the intersection of the two lines, determine what that coordinate point is. So remember, the x-axis is down here, and the x goes first. And then the y-axis is here. So just look for your x and your y. And then you get x equals and y equals. So these don't even require any math to do because the graph is going to be given to you. Just look where the two lines intersect. That's your answer. So if it's multiple choice, remember you have two answers. You need an x equals and a y equals. All right.
Just put the center dot, that's it?
I mean, like, it's going to be multiple choice just like how it was on the quiz, so you would just need your x equals and y equals. But all you need to do is look and see where the two lines intersect. because the lines are going to be given to you, so you don't even have to graph them.
Okay.
All right, so let's look at 5. So here we're solving by substitution. So we already have y that's given to us. So we just take this, plug it in for y. So we have 4 is equal to negative x minus 2 times, we substitute 4 minus 2x in for y. What do we do first to solve this?
Distribute.
Distribute. So we have to distribute this negative 2 to both things in the parentheses. My stylus is just trash today, like it is every day. There we go. So 4 is equal to negative x. Negative 2 times 4 would be negative 8. Negative 2 times negative 2x would be positive 4x. What do we do next?
Combine.
Combine like terms. So working on the same side of the equation, we have negative x plus 4x. What do we get when we combine negative x plus 4x?
3x.
Perfect, 3x. What should we do next?
Plus 8.
Add 8 to both sides, so it cancels. 4 plus 8 is 12, so 12 is equal to 3x. And then lastly,
Divide.
divide. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, so 4 is equal to x. What do we do next? What do we do next?
Plug it in.
Plug it in. Do we plug it in for x or do we plug it into the first one or the second one?
First one.
First one. Doesn't matter as long as we plug it in for x. So we have 4 is equal to, oh my goodness. There we go. Four is equal to negative, we plug 4 in for x, so negative 4 minus 2y. Now what do we need to do to solve for y?
Plus 4.
Plus 4. 8 is equal to negative 2y. What's next?
Divide.
Divide by negative 2. What's 8 divided by negative 2?
Positive 4.
Positive or how many negatives? Yeah, since we only have one negative, it's negative 4. So negative 4 is equal to y. So we got our answer for x and our answer for y, and we are done. So that's the only question we had to do today about solving using substitution. Any questions about substitution? So you just have to make sure you have your either x equals or y equals. Take that whole thing, plug it into either x or y, whatever it is. So if you have x equals something, you're going to plug it into x. If you have y equals, you plug it into y. Everybody's good on substitution? All right, next page. Oops. What do we do to solve by elimination?
Multiply 2x by 2, like the whole equation by 2.
We could do that, but do we already have a pair of opposites here with the y's?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can just go ahead and combine them. We don't always have to eliminate the x's first, we can eliminate the y's. So anytime we see the same number but opposites, we can combine. So we're just going to add every part of our equation together. So it's 2x plus 4x.
6x.
6x. What happens to our y's?
Cancel out.
They cancel out. Perfect. And then what's 3 minus 9?
-6.
-6. So now how do we solve for x?
Divide.
Divide by 6. So what's x equal to?
-1.
-1. So we got x. How do we find y?
Plug it into one of the equations.
Which one do you want to plug it into?
First one.
Sure. It doesn't matter which one we plug it into as long as we plug it in for x. So we have 2 times -1 plus y is equal to 3. First thing we need to do is multiply. So -2 plus y is equal to 3. Now what do we need to do to solve for y?
Add 2.
Add 2. So y is equal to 5. So we got our answer for x and our answer for y, and we're done. Any questions on this one? All right.
Miss Carter,
Yes.
what if they don't have a positive and negative y?
All right, so let's look at number 8. What would we need to do here to get them to have a positive and negative, either x or y?
X.
Well, we want one of them to cancel out. We can either cancel out our x's or cancel out our y's.
Then y.
So we have a 5y, positive 5y. We want this one to become a negative 5y. So what do we need to do to it to make it a negative 5y? Anybody can answer this question.
Multiply by -1.
Perfect. Multiply everything by -5. So multiplying everything in our second equation by -5. So our new second equation is -15x plus or minus 5y is equal to -30. I'm just going to rewrite the top equation right below it. So 4x plus 5y is equal to -25. Can we combine these two equations and get something to cancel out now?
Yeah.
Yep. So we can just go ahead and add everything together. So when we don't have like a positive and negative or opposite numbers to start off with, we're gonna have to multiply something. So when you can't combine them right away, you know you need to multiply. All right, we'll go ahead and finish this one together. So what's 15x plus 4x? Negative 15x plus 4x.
Miss Carver,
Yes.
isn't that 36 is 30?
Oh, you're right. Thank you. So this should be -30. All right, what's negative 15x plus 4x?
-11.
Negative 11x. Perfect. What happens to the y's?
They cancel out.
They cancel. And then what's negative 30 plus negative 25?
-55.
Negative 55. Now we divide both sides by negative 11. What's negative 55 divided by negative 11?
5.
5.
5. So x is equal to 5. How do we find y?
You put the x in another equation.
Perfect. So which equation do we want to plug it into?
The second one.
Sure, let's plug it into the second. It doesn't matter as long as we plug it in for x. So we have 3 times 5 plus y is equal to 6. What do we need to do first to solve?
Multiply 3 and 5.
Perfect. So 15 plus y is equal to 6. What do we do next?
Subtract 15 to 6.
Perfect. Subtract 15. So what's y equal to?
-9.
Negative 9. Awesome. So we got our answer for x and our answer for y. All right. Let's look at sketching the solution to each system of inequalities. So here we have two equations, so that means we need two graphs, but on the same one. Remember, since they're inequalities, we need to shade, and our answer is what's in common between the two. So looking at our first equation, what's our y-intercept?
-3.
Negative 3. So we're going to cross at negative 3. What's our slope?
-4/3.
Negative 4 over 3. So this means we go down 4 and to the right 3. Or we could go up 4 and to the left 3. So we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the left 3. So our second point is right there. Do we connect these two dots with a solid line or dotted line?
Dotted.
Awesome. A dotted line. What do we need to do next? We need to find out where we're going to shade. So how do we find out where do we shade? What do we need to do?
0, 0.
Plug in 0, 0. So you plug in 0 for x and 0 for y. So 0 is greater than negative 4 over 3 times 0 minus 3. Negative 4 over 3 times 0 is just 0. So 0 is greater than negative 3. Is this true?
Yes.
Yes. So where do we shade?
The right.
The right side. Perfect. So we shade where 0, 0 is, so over here. All right. Next, our second equation. What's our y-intercept?
3.
3. So we cross the y-axis at 3. What's our slope?
2/3.
2 over 3. So we go up 2 to the right 3. So that's our second point. Do we connect these two dots with a solid line or dotted line?
Dotted.
Dotted. Perfect. So our dotted line just goes through our 2 points there. What do we do next? What do we do next?
Plug in 0, 0.
Plug in 0, 0. So 0 is greater than 2/3 times 0 plus 3. So 0 is greater than 3. Is this true?
No.
Nope. So where are we going to shade?
The left side.
The left side. Over here. Now our final answer is just what's in common between the two. So we just erase everything else. Erase all the other shaded parts. So any questions about graphing? So remember, whenever you're graphing an inequality, if it has that greater than, less than, or greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to, any inequality, part of it's going to be shaded. So anytime you see an inequality, that means you're going to involve some shading. A lot of people on the quiz just gave me the lines but didn't shade. So you lost a lot of points there if you didn't shade. Anytime you see an inequality, you have to shade. And now we have two inequalities, so we just take what's in common between the two inequalities. Any questions on this one? All right, let's go to the next. So let's go to the next page. We'll do one of the eliminations. So let's look at number 9. All right, our goal for eliminations is to have the same number but opposites. Do we have the same number but opposites here?
Yeah. Or no.
Nope, not yet. We have opposites. We have this plus 4y and a minus y, but they're not the same number. So we want to get this to be a negative 4. So what do we have to do to it to make it? It's already negative, but we need that 4 in here. So what do we have to do to it?
Multiply by 4.
Multiply by 4. So if we multiply the y by 4, we have to multiply everything by 4. So our new second equation is 4x minus 4y is equal to negative 4. What do we do next?
To the bottom.
Awesome. We need to add the top one to the bottom one. So 3x plus 4y is equal to 32. We combine all of our like terms. So 3x plus 4x, 7x. What happens to our y's?
Cancel out.
Cancel out. And that's equal to 32 minus 4, which is 28. Now we just solve for x. So divide by 7. X is equal to what?
4.
4. So we have x is equal to, still need our y, so what do we need to do next?
Plug it back in.
Plug it back in. What do you want to plug it into?
The first one.
Sure, let's plug it into the first. So it doesn't matter as long as we plug it in for x. So we have 3 times 4 plus 4y is equal to 32. What do we need to do first to solve for y?
Multiply 3 and 4.
Perfect. Multiply 3 and 4. So that gives us 12 plus 4y is equal to 32. What's next?
Subtract 12 from both sides.
So 4y is equal to 32 minus 12, which is 20. What's next?
Divide 4.
Divide 4. So y is equal to what?
5.
5. Awesome. Good job. So we have our x and our y, and we're done. All right. Any questions on solving by elimination? I'm going to save number 10 for tomorrow. All right, I'm going to save 12 for tomorrow too, so we have one that we need to graph. Solving by elimination now. Let's look at number 10. What do we need to do first to solve by elimination for number 10?
We have to get it negative.
Perfect.
One of the numbers negative.
We have to make one of them negative. That way our y's will cancel out. So what can we do to make it negative?
Times by -1.
Times by -1. So I'm just going to rewrite our new first equation right below it. So we have negative 11x minus 4y is equal to negative 20. What do we do next?
We cross out the y's.
Right, we add everything together so our y's are going to cancel out. So what is 3x minus 11x?
-8.
-8. Our y's cancel, and then we have -12 plus -20.
Eight.
They're both negative.
-32.
-32. Now we divide both sides by -8. What do we get for x?
-4.
+4. Because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Alright, we got x. Now we need to find y. What do we need to do?
Plug it in.
Plug it in. So we're going to plug it in for x. The second one looks a little bit easier, so let's just plug it into the second. So we have 3 times x, which is 4, plus 4y is equal to -12. What do we have to do?
Distribute.
Distribute. So we just multiply 3 times 4. So 12 plus 4y is equal to -12. What's next?
Subtract 12.
Subtract 12. So 4y is equal to, what's -12 minus 12?
-24.
-24. Then we divide. What's -24 divided by 4?
-6.
-6. Perfect. Any questions about solving by elimination? So just remember, once you have your same number but opposites, that's when you combine the two equations. So you just have to make sure you pick one to cancel out either x's or y's. You want to pick the one that's the same number but opposites. If you don't have the same number but opposites right away, you got to multiply by something. Just like this one, we multiplied by -1. Any questions? All right, let's look at number 12. So we're graphing. For the first one, what's our y-intercept?
-2.
-2. So we put a point at -2. What is our slope?
1.
So if our slope is 1, that means we go up 1 and over 1. Do we connect these two dots with a solid line or dotted line?
Solid.
Solid. So greater than or equal to means solid. Now, how do we find where we're going to shade?
Plug in 0, 0.
Plug in 0, 0. So we have 0 is greater than or equal to 0 minus 2. What's 0 minus 2?
0.
0 minus 2.
-2.
Negative 2. Is 0 greater than negative 2?
Yes.
Yes. So where are we going to shade?
On the left.
On the left side. We shade where 0, 0 is. So we shade over here. All right. Next one. Y is less than 4x plus 1. What's our y-intercept?
1.
Yes, it's 1. So we put a dot at 1. What's our slope?
4 over 1.
Perfect. So we go up 4 over 1. Do we connect these 2 points with a solid line or dotted line?
Dotted.
Dotted. So we put our dotted line through these 2 points. Let's make my dotted line a little bit better. All right, for this one, it's kind of hard to tell where our 0, 0 is, so maybe we can pick another point to plug in instead of 0, 0. So what's another point we can plug in?
0, 1.
Perfect, 0, 1. Well, 0, 1 is actually on our line, so it can't be on our line, so we got to try something else.
1, 0.
1, 0. Awesome, that works. So 1, 0 is this point here. So we're going to plug in 1, 0. So we plug in 1 for x and 0 for y. So 0 is less than 4 plus 1. So 0 is less than 5. Is 0 less than 5?
Yes.
Yes, so this is true. So where are we going to shade?
Right.
The right side. We shade over here. We're only interested in what's in common, so we can erase everything else. So we're erasing all of the blue and all of the pink.
Ms. Carver, can you zoom out after you're done?
Yes.
So I can screenshot it?
Yeah. So just this little wedge over here is what's shaded. Any questions about graphing inequalities? So here we have solve each system by elimination. Now we have 3 equations. So this is the only new thing that we learned that was not on the quiz, but it's going to be on the test. So you will have one problem like this on the test. Everything else on the test is going to be just like how it was on the quiz. So when we have 3 equations, we solve it the same way, but it just takes a couple extra steps to get us started. So we need to pick one variable that we want to eliminate. What looks like a good one to eliminate, x, y, or z?
X.
All right, we can eliminate x. One that would be less work, which we can eliminate whatever we want. Some would be easier to eliminate than others, but one that would be less work to do would be eliminate z, because these are already the same number, and we have one that's opposite. So if we want, we can pick these 2 equations to start, and then do these 2 equations, and eliminate z, and we wouldn't have to multiply by anything. If we picked x, we would have to multiply everything in the second equation by 2, which definitely we could do, but it's just a whole nother step. So let's work on eliminating z. So our goal is to eliminate the z. We already have a positive 4 and a negative 4 here. So we can just go ahead and combine our first two equations. So what's 2x minus x?
Positive x.
Perfect. Positive x. And what is 4y minus y?
3y.
What's 4z minus 4z?
Cancels out.
Cancels out. Awesome. And then what's negative 10 plus 14?
4.
4. So now we have one equation with two variables. We need to do the same thing to get another equation with two variables. So again, since we eliminated z the first time, we're going to eliminate z the second time. We just have to pick two different equations. So we can't pick the same two. So we have to involve the third. We want to pick the second one here also because we see we have a negative 4z and a positive 4z. So they're already opposites of the same number. So we can go ahead and combine them. We don't have to multiply by anything here. We're just going to combine. So what is negative x plus 2x?
Positive x.
Positive x. What's negative y plus 5y?
Positive 4y.
Perfect. Plus 4y. What happens to the z's?
Cancels out.
Cancel. And then what's 14 minus 7?
7.
7. Awesome. So now we have two equations with two variables, so this looks just like what we did on the last page. So how can we get something to cancel out here?
Combine them.
If we combine them, what's x plus x?
2x.
2x. And what's 3y plus 4y?
7y.
7y. Does anything cancel out there?
No.
No. So we're going to have to multiply before we can cancel. So what do you want to cancel out, the x's or the y's?
X.
X's. So what do we need to multiply to get one of the x's negative?
Times negative 1.
Times negative 1. You want to multiply the first equation or the second one?
First one.
Okay. It doesn't matter because it would give us the same thing. So multiply everything times negative 1. So we have negative x, I'm just going to rewrite it down here, minus 3y is equal to negative 4. So the only thing that changed were the signs for everything. Now we can combine, these two equations. So what's x minus x? What happens to our x's?
They cancel out.
They cancel. Perfect. What is 4y minus 3y?
Y.
Y. And then what is 7 minus 4?
3.
3. So we got y is equal to 3. That's it. It's one of our answers. Now we need to find x and z. So what do we do from here? What do we need to do next?
Plug it in.
Plug it in. What are we going to plug it into? Do we plug it into one of these equations here, one of the first ones? Do we plug it into the blue one, or do we plug it into the pink one?
One of the second ones.
Perfect. We can plug it into either the blue one or the pink one. So which one do you want to do? It doesn't matter as long as we plug it in for y, but it has to be in one of these two. So let's plug it into the blue one. So we're going to plug it in for y. So we have x plus 3 times 3 is equal to 4. What do we need to do first to solve for x here?
Distribute.
Distribute or just multiply. So x plus 9 is equal to 4. What do we do next?
Subtract.
Subtract 9. So x is equal to, what's 4 minus 9?
-5.
-5. All right, so we have x and y. Now we need to find z. So what do we need to do to find z?
Get one of the first problems.
All right, so which one of the first problems do you want to use? First, second, or third?
First.
All right, let's use the first. So we have 2x plus 4y plus 4z is equal to -10. Remember, we're solving for z, and we have x and y already. So what do we need to do? So Winchell said we're going to use the first equation, but what do we do with it?
Plug in x and y.
Awesome. Plug in x and plug in y. So we have 2 times -5 plus 4 times 3 plus 4z is equal to -10. Now our goal is to solve for z. So what do we need to do first?
Multiply.
Multiply. So 2 times -5 would be -10. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 4z is equal to -10. What do we do next?
Combine.
Subtract 12.
We can subtract 12 to the other side. We can also just combine the -10 and 12. So it's -10 plus 12.
2.
2. So 2 plus 4z is equal to -10. Now what do we do?
Subtract.
Subtract 2. So 4z is equal to what?
-12.
-12. What do we do next?
Divide by 4.
Divide by 4. So what's z equal to?
-3.
-3. Perfect. So we have our answer for x, our answer for y, and our answer for z.
No, but can you go back to number 2?
Yes, I will. I just want to look at 14 real quick. For 14, what should we eliminate first? X, y, or z? What would be the best to eliminate? Perfect. Y. Y, we have this -5 and a +5 and another -5. So y here would be the best one to eliminate. What about for 15? What do you think would be the best to eliminate?
X.
x. Awesome. So x would be the best to eliminate first. Again, you don't have to pick it to eliminate first, but it is going to be easier and less steps if you use the one that's already the same numbers. Okay, let's go back and look at number 2. Let's look at 14. So yesterday, we said anytime that we have the same number, that's the variable we want to pick. So we have a 5y in all of these equations, so we want to pick y's to eliminate first. So which 2 equations do you want to work with first to eliminate the y's? Just pick 2 of them.
The first one, the second one.
Awesome. Let's do the first and the second. So we already have a negative y and a positive y. Don't even need to multiply by anything. We're just going to combine all of our like terms. What is negative 3x plus x?
It's negative 2x.
Negative 2x. What happens to the y's?
They cancel out.
Cancel out. What happens to the z's?
11z.
What's negative 8z plus 3z?
Oh, I didn't say negative. 4z or 5z. Negative 5z.
Negative 5z. And then 12 minus 5?
7.
7. What do we do next? The third equation with what? You're on the right track. We need to involve the third equation, but what do we do with it?
Change the signs.
Well, what's our goal? So we want to work with the third equation because we haven't done it yet. We need to pick, either use the first one again or the second one again. Which one do you think would be better to work? Because again, we're trying to cancel out the y's, just like we did using the first 2, but we just have to include the third one now. So do you want to work with the first one again or the second?
Second.
Second. Perfect, because it'd be a little bit easier because we have that plus 5y and a negative 5y, so we see those are going to cancel out. So once we work with the first 2 and get our new equation, we go back, do the same thing again with a different set of 2 equations. One of them we're going to reuse, the other one has to be the new one. So we do the same thing, combine all of our like terms. What is x minus 4x?
Negative 3x.
Negative 3x. What is 3z plus 2z?
5z.
And what is negative 5 minus 22?
Negative 27.
Negative 27. What do we do next?
Combine both equations.
Combine both equations. We already see we have a negative 5z and a positive 5z, so we know those are going to cancel, so we don't even need to multiply by anything. We just combine them all. So negative 2x minus 3x is what?
Negative 5x.
Negative 5x. What's negative 5z plus 5z?
Negative 20.
Negative 5z plus 5z.
Oh.
They cancel out.
They cancel out. And then that's equal to negative 20. You're just one step ahead. What do we do next?
Divide by 5.
Divide by negative 5. So x is equal to what?
4.
4. Perfect. So that's one of our answers. But here, we need 3 answers. So what do we do to find the next one? So our options are plug it into 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
2.
Before we can plug it into one of the first 3, we can only go back one step to plug it into one of our new ones here, the green or the pink one, because we can't solve for 2 variables at a time. So if we plugged it into one of the first ones, let's say we plug it in for x, we're still solving for y and z. We can't do that at the same time. So we can only go back one step, because if we plug it in for x, then we're only solving for z. So that's what we need. So which one do you want to plug it into?
First one.
The first one meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Which one?
4.
4. Sure. We could plug it into 4 or 5. Either one would work. But Maddie says let's plug it into 4. So we have negative 2. We're plugging it in for x. So negative 2 times 4. Minus 5z is equal to 7. What do we need to do first to solve?
Multiply negative 2 and 4.
Perfect. Negative 2 times 4 would be negative 8. Minus 5z is equal to 7. What's next?
Add 8.
Add 8. Negative 5z is equal to 15. What's next?
Divide.
Divide by negative 5. So what do we get for z?
Negative
3.
Negative 3. Close. All right, so we have x and we have z. What do we need to do next?
Get y.
We need to find y. How do we find y?
Plug it into 1, 2, or 3.
Plug it into 1, 2, or 3. Which one do you want to use? 1, 2, or 3?
2.
2.
2. So we're taking x and plugging it into 2, and we take z and plug it into 2. So x is 4 plus 5y plus 3 times negative 3 is equal to negative 5. All right, what do we need to do first to solve?
Multiply.
Multiply, so 4 plus 5y, 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. What's next?
Subtract 4.
Subtract 4. If we subtract 4, we gotta move it to the other side. So we have 5y minus 9 is equal to negative 9.
Or
Yeah.
couldn't we just combine like terms to
Yeah.
make it easy?
We could combine like terms. So instead of doing that, we could, man, my eraser's so small. We can just combine the 4 and the negative 9 together. Either way would work. The only thing that would not work is if you subtracted 4 and subtracted 4. That would not work. Because if we subtract 4, we have to move it to the other side. But we can just combine the 4 and the negative 9, so that would be negative 5. So 5y minus 5 is equal to negative 5. What do we do next?
Add 5.
Add 5. So 5y is equal to, what's negative 5 plus 5?
0.
0. Then we divide 5. What's 0 divided by 5?
0.
0. So y is equal to 0. So we have our x, we have our y, and we have our z. And then we're done. Those are 3 answers. Awesome. Want to eliminate x first. So since x is all the same number, it's a good choice. So which 2 equations do you want to work with first?
The first and the second.
First and second. So we already have a negative and a positive, so we can go ahead and combine. So we add the x's, add the y's, add the z's, and add the numbers. So what's negative 3x plus 3x? What happens to our x's?
Cross out.
Cross out. What's 2y plus 4y?
6y.
6y. And what is negative 2z plus 2z?
0.
0. So 6y is equal to, what's 20 minus 20?
0.
0. 6y is equal to 0. What do we do next?
Y equals 0.
Awesome. We can just solve for y since we don't even have 2 variables to solve for here. So divide by 6, y is equal to 0. Because 0 divided by 6 is 0. So that's one of our answers. We still have to find z and x. So we can't just plug this in yet because then we're still solving for 2 variables. So we got to do the same thing but with 2 more equations. So which 2 equations can we work with now?
The second and third.
If we work with the second and third, we have 2 positive 3s, so we're going to have to multiply one of them. Instead of picking the second and third, do we have a better option to pick?
Third and first.
Third and first. Perfect. So we're working with this one and this one. So we have a negative 3 and a positive 3, so we can go ahead and combine. So our x's cancel. What's 2y minus 2y?
0.
0. And then what is negative 2z minus 4z?
Negative 6z.
Negative 6z. And then what is 20 plus 4?
24.
24. What do we need to do to solve for z?
Divide.
Divide by negative 6. So z is equal to what?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. Perfect. Now what do we need to do to find x?
We plug both of them in.
Awesome. Plug both of them in. Since we have 2 answers, we can plug it into the original. So we have to have 2 answers to be able to plug it into the original. So we plug 0 in for y and 0 in for z, or negative 4 in for z. Which one do you plug it in? Do you want to plug it into? 1, 2, or 3?
2.
Sure. Let's plug it in 2. So we have 3x plus 4 times 0 plus 2 times negative 4 is equal to negative 20. Now we're solving for x, so what do we need to do?
Distribute.
Distribute, so we just multiply. So we have 3x. What's 4 times 0?
0.
0, so we don't even need to write it. What's 2 times negative 4?
Negative 8.
Negative 8, and that's equal to negative 20. What do we do next?
Add 8.
Add 8. What is negative 20 plus 8?
Negative 12.
Negative 12. Then we divide by 3. What is negative 12 divided by 3?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. So we have our answer for X, our answer for Y, and our answer for Z, and we are done. So that's everything on the review. One thing that I want to stress is when you guys are doing your test tomorrow, make sure you show your work. If you don't show your work, I'm not going to give you any credit. So even if you get the right answer, just do it all in your head. Gotta show your work. You need to write something down. Need to see your work. And it has to be the right work too. I'm actually going to look at it.